Hello and welcome back to my channel. Saturday comes around so quickly and we're here again. Been to group this morning and had a really good group meeting and got the result I deserved. I'll share with you as usual what I did to get this result and tell you how I think it's happened. Made a conscious decision after last week when I was only half a pound within the bottom of my new target to actually aim for a small gain or a maintain this week. Now, I find that my body fluctuates on a weekly basis, and if I carry on plan, quite normally, I never know whether I'm going to get a weight gain, a weight loss, or a maintain. I just know that when I get to the scales on Saturday, I don't need to be anxious, and I will take the result I get. Well, this week I decided to make an effort to hopefully get a very small gain, because I don't want to keep falling out of the bottom of target. I don't want to fall out of the bottom of my new target. So I have to stay at 9 stone 4 or above. And last week I was at 9 stone 4.5, so I needed to address that. I actually upped my average sin count to 10, and I had my 4 healthy extras every day. And I upped my sin count by having extra cheese, which I really enjoy, and also each morning I had 10 grams of avocado. Now that's quite easy for me because Joe eats avocado with his breakfast, so I could just beg 10 grams, which is just a nice little chunk, a mouthful, from him. But it also adds some healthy fat to my fat-free breakfast. And Joe was telling me during the week that it's beneficial to have some fat in my breakfast. I think I'm right there, aren't I, Joe?
Yeah.
So because my breakfast is made up of fat-free yoghurt, fat-free quark and Weetabix, it's a totally fat-free breakfast. So adding those 10 grams of avocado, whilst I don't think it makes it any more satiating because it's a very filling breakfast anyway, in theory it makes it a little more healthy. So I've done that this week. So yeah, 4 healthy extras, an average of 10 sins a day, and my result was a 1.5 pound, not a £1, a 1.5 pound gain. And while I'm comfortable with that, because that has me at 9 stone 6, and my target is 9 stone 7, while I'm comfortable with that, it still isn't the nicest feeling in the world to have a gain. And I'm saying this because I'm still a work in progress, and I've got to get my head into the right headspace to accept gains easily. I know I have. The other thing is, all I had to do to get that 1.5 pound gain was up my sins by 2, 3 a day. I'm just grateful today that I don't fall off this wagon. I'm grateful today that I don't have a desire to binge anymore, and I'm grateful today that I don't have an overwhelming desire to eat sugar, because I do believe for me sugar is more detrimental than healthy fat. But if I can gain 1.5 pounds that easily, there is still that fear in my head. Oh my God, how easily could I gain half a stone? So I'm really pleased with myself this week because I have had a bang on plan week and my food's been in the right place. I had a bit of a funny day yesterday because, well, I don't seem to struggle regularly. I had a morning yesterday when Joe was at work of waiting in for the gas engineer, who in the event didn't come, but that's another story. He was running late and I had to cancel because we had to go somewhere in the afternoon. But I waited 5 hours for this guy, and I am not the most patient of people, and just sitting around waiting and being bored, even though in the comfort of my own home, led my head into thinking, I'm hungry. And I had to literally kind of sit myself down, give my head a wobble and say, you are not hungry, what the hell are you talking about? And I did eventually pick up my mobile and text Debbie on SW, because I know Debbie works this plan consistently and will support me, and actually confess that I am feeling this way because I am bored. I needed to address that because it was playing mind games with me. And I could very easily have picked up food yesterday to alleviate the boredom. And I know it's the wrong thing to do. And I know that, again, it would have just added to the mind games, because it's just not the right thing for me to be doing. I eat 3 meals a day. I eat 3 generous meals a day. I enjoy my food. But that mind game is only ever there in the background. And I had to consciously decide yesterday, do I do this? And do I risk blowing, actually not just blowing a day, but for me, blowing habits of being on plan. I don't want to come off plan. It's not worth it. I can eat everything I need to eat within this plan. So yeah, thanks Debbie if you watch this video for your encouragement and support yesterday, because actually writing it in a text made me address it rather than just ignore the common sense that I was trying to my mind was trying to trick me not to live in that common sense place, but to live in those old habits. And the mind is a very powerful thing, and I'm just grateful yesterday that the support was there and I didn't act on it, because I could have acted on it and still in theory been on plan, but would my head have still been in the right place? I don't think so. And it wasn't about the gaining weight, because I knew I needed a gain today. It was more about the behaviour and how falling back into old habits would have been a very dangerous place to go. I met my husband in the city the other day because we had some business to do, and we went for a coffee afterwards, and we were having a chat about the old days, about years ago when I had major food issues and things, and what a bully I was, and how I used to literally, I mean, my husband's 13 inches taller than me, a big strapping chap. He's no weed, he's no pushover, but I used to bully him terribly into going and getting me chocolate at very strange hours and plenty of it. And it was kind of an opportunity to say, I'm sorry, Richard, for what I did. And I am sorry, Richard, a public apology for what I used to do over food. But it also led us into having a slight discussion, not a lengthy discussion, but a slight discussion in how we can enable one another to keep up bad behaviours. And I realise now, you know, Richard wasn't in a position to say no to me, because I used to throw big wobblers and you know, play the drama queen and all. I was very good at that, and really blackmail him into getting me food. But looking back on it, you know, we were both in the wrong, and we acknowledged that the other day over coffee. He would have been better being stronger and saying no to me. I'm not saying I would have taken that well, because I wouldn't. I would have probably been unbearable to live with. And I was totally in the wrong, bullying him and even asking him to do this for me, or, you know, playing the sob card just to get food. And it was actually quite refreshing to be able to say, look, this is what I did. This is a behaviour I used to engage in. And to actually realise that I don't ever want to go back to being that person. And to be able to say sorry, and also have Richard say, you know, I realised at the time I wasn't doing the best thing for you, but I was doing what you thought you needed. So yeah, it's been good to be able to move on from that and still be friends. I think I had a couple of other things on there that I wanted to talk about today, Joe, didn't I?
The things we've done to weigh less on my day.
Oh yeah, talking about group this morning, and a couple of things that came up, and I'd already written this down before I went to group. It surprises me how often things that I'm dealing with, or things that other people talk about dealing with, will crop up in group on a Saturday. And this is another one of the reasons why I find it really beneficial to stay to group, because so often things that I'm thinking about or struggling with will crop up for discussion. And one of the things that we actually were talking about this morning was focusing on not getting on the scales during the week and thinking, you know, using them as a barometer, and also focusing on some of the things we'll do to get weight losses. And something that came up in group this morning, and I'll hold my hand up to having done this, is being really tight with food the day before weigh day. One of the guys at group was saying this morning, you know, it's so hard to think about eating normally on a Friday, because You're really conscious that a lot of that food could still be in your body the following morning. And I suppose the same applies if you're thinking about eating all day to get weighed at night. So this guy was saying, you get into that mentality, and I've done this, and I've done it quite recently, and had to, pull myself up on it. You get into that mentality of thinking, it's the day before weigh day, I mustn't have a big dinner tonight, I must turn it around and try and keep some of that bulk of food out of my system, just in case I don't go to the toilet in the morning and I'm going to weigh heavy. I felt like that in a strange way yesterday, and I could really relate to what this guy was saying to me this morning. Because I was conscious yesterday that I was late having my lunch, which made me late having my evening meal. And then I chose to eat half a watermelon last night, which I assume was going to turn into water and come out during the night. Now, I'm a person who gets up 2 or 3 times in the night to go to the loo because I'm a woman of a certain age. But last night, did I? Did I heckers like? I never don't get up in the night to go to the loo, but I didn't last night. And I'm lying in bed this morning thinking, oh my Lord, I've still got that half a watermelon inside me, which is crackers. Because half a watermelon, once your body, your digestion process has dealt with it, is not going to be a huge amount of bulk, is it? So consequently, this morning, I'm talking to this guy and I'm saying, yeah, I've gained 1.5 pounds, but then I'm trying to justify it by saying, I didn't go to the loo this morning before I, what I mean by go to the loo, don't you? I didn't go to the loo this morning before I came to group. I usually go on a Saturday morning. Mind games again. Then we got into a discussion, a group of us, and it also came up during the meeting, looking at different behaviours that we've had over the years to actually try to weigh less when we get on the scale. That, my Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. Now my body doesn't in theory know it's Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. So why do I expect a magic result? My result's going to come from what I've done all week. I know that, logically I know that. But we actually got round to relating daft things that we've done over the years to try and achieve a weight loss. And I shared, not in group but before group, one of the things I remember doing, not when I joined this time, but I think it was the previous time I joined Slimming World. It was a nighttime group. I went along, it was a winter time, I had on jeans, I had on shoes, lace-up shoes. I got on the scales on purpose, knowing that I was wearing jeans and lace-up shoes, and knowing that when I went the next week I'd go in leggings. And I did that, and I took my shoes off because I wanted a big loss on my first week to impress people and to get off to a good start. I look back on it now and I must have been mental at the time. I must have been having a real fat head issue or something. Because I look back on it now and I think to myself, good God, I wasn't kidding the group or the group leader. I was fooling myself. Because when I went the next week, we can bet that 2 or 3 pounds of what I lost would have been the weight of my jeans and the weight of my shoes. Why on earth did I think that was a weight loss? And although it was a mind game and a stupid thing I was doing, the following week, and I haven't got my old book, so I can't, but say I lost 6 or 7 pounds that week. How ridiculous. Common sense told me 3 pounds of that would have been my jeans and my shoes. But I actually believed I'd lost 7 pounds. We've had people, I admit this morning, taking out their earrings before they got weighed, taking off necklaces before they got weighed, taking off their glasses to try and get a better weight loss this week because we've not had the best of weeks. But the thing is, if we do any of that, and I'm including myself in this because this is about me, if we do any of that, we've got to keep it up then, haven't we? We've got to do it the next week. And I honestly, and I'm holding my hands up to this, I'm being really honest with you, don't think I have ever joined Slimming World and not got weighed the first week with my shoes on. And then the first week I've struggled because I've not had a good week, that's been the week I've took my shoes off. Can anybody else hold their hand up to doing that? Or something similar? Will you share with us what's the daftest thing you've ever done to try and achieve a weight loss? Because I think between us, we've probably tried it all. Because that's the kind of things we do. And talking to people in group about it this morning, yeah, we had a good laugh about it. But I'm looking back on the times I've done it, it wasn't funny at the time. Because I seriously thought, what it said in that book, what it showed in that book was a weight loss. And so often it wasn't. And I'm grateful today. I actually made a big step forward last week, and I forgot to say this in my vlog. I actually changed the top I got weighed in, because I joined my group 2 years ago in May wearing a size 18 top from Marks and Spencer's and a pair of Marks and Spencer's trousers, and I've got a pair of those same trousers on today. But these are a size 8 and I joined in a size 16. Right, but the top that I was wearing up until the week before last was still the same size 18 top. And I'm going to tell you why, because this is how mad I am. That top was way too big for me, wasn't it, Joe?
Yeah.
I mean, you could have got me in it twice. But I persisted in wearing it for group every week for 2 reasons. Firstly, because if I changed my top, the new one might have weighed more. And I don't know why I didn't just weigh it on the scales, because I've done that before. And secondly, because it was my lucky top. And what if I broke my run of luck and started to put my weight back on week after week after week? That's how mad my head is around weight. I feel better now I've actually said that. And the top is now out of my wardrobe and folded up in my drawer. And it's a really nice top and I really like it. But you know what? I'm going to take it to a charity shop this week, because it is not my lucky top. The reason I've kept my weight off is not because I wore that top every week. It's because I stick to plan 7 days a week. And I feel kind of foolish admitting it, but I was going to group in size 8 trousers and a size 18 top because I was so afraid of it, breaking my run of luck. Mad. That's the kind of things we do. And that's the kind of things I used to do so much more of when I didn't stick to plan as consciously as I do today. I have to eat this way if I want to stay slim. I know that. And I'm choosing to do that. And I'm happy doing that most of the time. But I still have lots of issues on the journey that I need to work through. This week I've walked 21.35 miles, which is kind of becoming the average now. Next week I plan to go forward and do pretty much the same as I've done this week. I am going to stick to 4 healthy extras, and I'm going to stick to between 5 and 10 sins a day. I don't feel the need to go over the 10, and I don't feel the need to go as low as 5. So somewhere in the middle ground is what I'm aiming to do, because I just need to keep doing what I'm doing and keep getting those slight rise and falls each week, and learn to accept that a gain is not the end of the world. I haven't consciously done anything outside of plan to gain that weight. So I need to be able to accept those small gains and not come out feeling like that wasn't the best result. It was the best result. It was the result I deserved. And it's not failure. Talking to another sweet lady this morning who was at Target, and she, I tend to want to live within the bottom end of Target. This lady balances her weight within the top end of Target, those top £3. And she said to me this morning, I cannot, she had to maintain, she's £1.50 within Target, but Jane, I cannot go out of the top end of Target or I would be a failure. Now, the fact that she feels like that has kept her within Target for over 2 years. So maybe it's a positive thing to feel like that. Maybe, setting that top, that higher boundary is a good thing for some of us. For me, my target's 9 stone 7, and I want to live between 9 stone 4 and 9 stone 7. That gives me £4 to play with, doesn't it? 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's enough of a band for me. I should never need to gain more than £4 or lose more than £4. I'm trying my best to live at that without obsessing about it. I cannot allow myself to go back into diet mentality, because that's when I will struggle. So I'm just going to carry on doing what I'm doing because it's working. Did I have anything else on there that I wanted to mention, Joe?
How do we actually lose fat?
Oh yeah, this is I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel I watched, and it was something that just, you know, when you've got your videos on to play automatically, I was watching, I don't know, it was a health video of some type. No, it was a young lady in America who's lost 130 pounds, and I can't remember the name of her channel. But after she'd been talking about a certain issue about, you know, how she lost her weight, the next automatic video that came up was, I think it was a TED's talk. And it was this guy who was a scientist from Australia talking about how we actually lose fat. And he was on Bondi Beach and he was asking people, how do you think we lose fat? Actually physically lose fat from your body. So how those pounds are shed. And a lot of people said, well, we sweat it out. Well, we pee it out. Well, we poo it out. Well, we burn it off because a calorie is the unit of heat and we're literally burning it off. And he was like, nope, 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 wrong, wrong, wrong. How do we lose fat from our body? And I had a vague idea of something from what Naomi had said in the past, but I thought, no, go on then, tell me. We breathe it out. Now, everybody can Google this and read more about it, but he actually showed it by blowing up a balloon, and then he put liquid, I think it was liquid nitrogen on the balloon, on the outside of the balloon, and the breath, the air inside the balloon, which had come out of his lungs, part of it turned to water and part of it turned to solids. And he said those small particles of solids, which will disappear again as a gas, are actually fat. So yeah, I thought that was fascinating. So if you want to know more about it, I'm sure it was a TED talk or TED talk, but it was amazing. We actually breathe it out. So when I think of all those times before I've gone to group and during the week when I've strained on the toilet thinking this is what I should be doing, which I know better now, I don't do that anymore. Thank God I never got into laxatives, but we actually breathe it out. So I've been going around all week. Is it that easy? I don't know. But if my body's going to physically do it, maybe doing some breathing exercises would help, because Joe always tells me I don't breathe properly, do I, Joe? I should breathe in through my nose, yeah?
Yeah.
Out through my mouth.
Well, you should just breathe through your nose in general, yeah.
Well, I am very much a mouth breather, aren't I?
Yeah, you can.
So I often sound like breathless when I'm not breathless, because it's just the lazy way I breathe. So yeah, if anybody's interested in actually finding out more about it, Google it. It's out there on the internet. But fascinating. We breathe out the fat. That's enough from me this week. I'm waffling. I'm also hungry. I need to go get my breakfast. Yeah, good week. I'm sticking to plan. I'm carrying on. I'm not coming off this wagon. I'm not going to choose to step off it. And I'm certainly not going to bloody fall off it, because I know how not to. So thank you for watching me. Sorry it's been a bit of a waffle this week, but that's life, isn't it? It's been a good week on plan. I'll be back next Saturday and I'll be doing what I always do, and I will also be reminding myself it only works because I work it, and it won't if I don't. I'll see you next week. Cheers.